Hello everyone, my name is Eamon with Electronics Repair Group, and today I'm going to be showing you on how to replace the screen on an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, and this will even work for the iPhone 6s. So we're going to need a couple of standard tools. First tool we're going to be using is going to be our penlobe screw. Second screw we're going to be using is our Y-shaped screw. And the last screw we're going to need is our Phillips head. We're going to need a couple special tools. Very basic spudger. Tweezers, either the flat or you can use the pointy tip, whatever you're comfortable with. And the opening tool. So first things first, what we're going to do is take out these little screws that are holding the screen in. You're going to have two at the bottom on either side of the charge port connector. And let's just pop these guys right out. Alright, give me a second, y'all. We got one that's just twisting. And there we go. What I like to do with all my screws is I like to put them in designated spots, but more importantly, I like to map them out on here the way they would be mapped out on here. So when it is time to put things back, they're going back in exactly the same holes they came out of. So when opening up the screen, we're gonna use our opening tool and we're gonna insert it in here and give it a lift. We're not gonna insert and twist, key twist at all. We don't want to put too much pressure on the screen. So once you get it in there, just lift it up a little bit. And what you can do is actually take this opening tool and just work your way around the device. What you want to do is take off all that adhesive, undo the screen from the adhesive. Be very careful when you are here because you do have the home button that runs all the way across here. So make sure to be very delicate when you are there. And again, just work your way all the way around. Once that happens, as you can see, we have the device just pops right open. Hello. Now that we got the screen opened up, as you can see, there is two shields that we're going to have to remove. This first shield is going to be using the Y shape. And this top connector up here is going to be using the Phillips head. So now it's really important when removing these connectors is not to damage any of the chips, capacitors, fuses that are located all throughout the motherboard. So what that means is that every single connector is going to have to get disconnected in its own very special way. So one thing we always start off with is the battery. Is make sure we cut off power to the device. And the way we like to disconnect this guy is right through the flex itself. We like to put in the pointy end of the spudger right into the flex, and once you insert, this will actually just pop right open. Really simple, no pressure. And with these connectors, since we have the loudspeaker here, there is no chips, capacitors, whatnot all on this, so we can easily attack it through the side. And what I like to do is take the flat end of my spudger, insert it, and give it a very gentle key twist. And that will essentially have a pop up. And as you can see, we can see the other connector located right under it, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. Now we're gonna move on toward the top. And as you can see here, since the motherboard has a very big shield on top of here, all these capacitors and fuses are protected. So we can essentially tackle this guy right through in here. And same thing, I like to grab the flat end of my spudger, gently stick it in and give it a very simple key twist. And there you go. You have attached your screen. After detaching the screen, one of the first things that I like to tackle is the home button. With the home button, you're going to be using a Y screw, and you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. I like to remove the screw that's directly onto the home button, because when I'm removing the other screws, I want to make sure there is no singular pressure on that actual home button. And at this point, you can take them out at any order you want. Just make sure to map them, because you do want to put everything back where you found it. There we go. So what's very unique about this home button is that the home button flex run starts off at the home button, goes all the way down, and laps over right here. So the best way to tackle this connector is through this side of the wall. And what I like to do is just take flat end of my spudger, you're gonna hear me say that a lot, and just give it a little key twist once you get in there. And that's all there is to it. Now you have disconnected the home button. What I like to do also is take that same connector that's part of the screen and fold it upwards, get it out the way. You'll also see this little tab right here. And what I like to do is take a tweezer, get under that little tab. Once you lift up that tab, you can essentially just take your tweezer or spudger, flat end, and just lift it on up very gently and delicately. You don't want to force anything. And with this home button, it actually goes out through the front of the screen, so what you're gonna essentially do is give it a very gentle push. And now your home button's out. Now we're gonna tackle this whole top assembly. First things first, we're gonna remove all these screws. And it's very important, we put all these screws back where we found them. Once you take off this top shield, you will notice that there are 2 more screws holding the earpiece in. Let's go ahead and remove that. Oh, forgot about that guy. There we go. So now, when removing this whole cable, there are different areas you can attack this from. First thing I like to do is get on through the top and lift this guy up. Just a very gentle, sometimes you can even put your thumb right over and lift it on up to get it right out. Once you get that, you can essentially take your tweezers. If you have some very sharp ones, will be ideal. Get it right under that little tab. And once you lift up that tab, you can essentially just go back to your spudger and just go slide all the way down very gently. And this whole piece should come right out. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You just took apart an iPhone 7.